The anime revolves around an unfortunate boy whose father made a deal with devils in exchange for his body parts. He is also abandoned by his father and assumed to be killed, but God saves him. He is brought up by another man and he keeps getting back his body parts after killing monsters. Kaga province is experiencing severe storms and heavy rain. King Daigo is waiting for his wife to give birth. He recalls an event that happened a few months earlier. He goes to the Hall of Hell, where a priest exhorts him to follow the path of Buddha because the path of evil leads to hell. But Daigo claims that because of famines and diseases, they are already in hell. The priest forewarns him that he will be held accountable. Daigo then kills the priest, who thanks him before dying, saying that he is going to die before doubting Buddha. 12 demons and Daigo agree to an agreement. He will offer them something in exchange for keeping his lands safe. A son is born to Daigo's wife, but he is born without any limbs, eyes, or even skin. When he strikes, a bolt of lightning strikes Daigo's home, blowing away the idol that was inside. Daigo understands that, in exchange for the protection of his property, demons have abducted his son. His wife tells him that she feels love for her weird son. Daigo commands the elderly woman to send his son away to another country. She places the infant in a boat and sails off. Following that, Daigo's nation starts to prosper. After 16 years, a man named Jukai is tending to the wounded. A small boy by the name of Dororo is selling some priceless items and is terrified to see the man because he has stolen the items from him. The youngster runs away as the man attempts to beat him. Dororo visits a canal where that man severely beats Dororo. In the meantime, a water monster appears and devours the man. The lad with the peculiar mask saves Dororo from the monster. Dororo inquires as to why he is donning a mask. The youngster's mask collapses, revealing the boy's skinless face, which is also devoid of eyes and nose. To Dororo, a man is being treated by Jukai, who is shocked to see a bizarre mask covering his face. He knows him to be Hyakkimaru. The boy in the mask and Dororo are strolling. Dororo is speaking to him, but he doesn't respond and carries on walking. The boy can see and observe Dororo. Dororo prepares the fish over the fire after the boy catches some. The youngster is so weird, says Dororo, but he has the potential to become wealthy. While Hyakkimaru, the mask-wearing boy, is still perched on a rock, Dororo sleeps on the ground. Jukai is walking to the injured while carrying a box on his back. When Dororo wakes up from his nap, he speaks to himself before introducing himself to Hyakkimaru. He again asks the masked boy what his name is and then guesses that he cannot hear him. He proposes visiting the neighboring village, defending the locals from the monster and collecting money from the villagers. When they get to the village, Dororo convinces the locals to let them dwell there so they can slay the monster because Hyakkimaru can fight it. A large-faced creature approaches at night while ringing the bell in his hand. Hyakkimaru is informed by Dororo, but he does not reply. They learn in the morning that Lady Bandai, the village chief, wants to visit them. She is unable to walk, so they travel to meet her. Hyakkimaru pulls out his sword to strike Lady Bandai as soon as they enter her room, but the guards stop him and toss him and Dororo outside. In the prison, they meet a priest who claims to have an inner eye that allows them to see things that others cannot. The light turns off in their odd cacophony. Hyakkimaru pulls his sword out and departs. He is followed by the priest and Dororo. On her bed, Lady Bandai is visible to them. She assaults them in an instant after changing into a large monster. A villager helps her escape as Hyakkimaru rushes to attack her. She is killed by Hyakkimaru when he pursues her. The priest informs Dororo that Hyakkimaru cannot see or hear, but can only perceive the hues of good and evil souls. He observes that good spirits are white, whereas evil souls are red. Hyakkimaru prints his name on the dirt after Dororo asks him for it once more. While discussing the defense of his country with one of his soldiers, Diego can see the entrance to the Hall of Hell. As a blue light enters the Hall of Hell, Hyakkimaru screams in agony and slumps to his knees. War has devastated the earth and the soil of the earth has drained the blood. There is agony and suffering everywhere. People are slaughtered brutally. Dr. Jukai implants new organs in people, and they are all thankful to Jukai and offer him different things as a gift. A little boy named Kaname assists Jukai and is thankful to him, saying that Jukai gave him a reason to live. One day, a little boy is passing by when he sees a child crying in pain because his arm has been cut. Jukai's assistant, Kaname, brings the boy to Jukai and he tells the child and his mother that his treatment will take some days. Kaname asks Jukai if he worked for Lord Shiva. Jukai tells him that he fought in the Battle of the Clan. Kaname takes out a sword to kill Jukai because he killed Kaname's father in the war. Jukai asks Kaname to give him a chance to fulfill a promise he made to the child and his mother. Jukai remembers the day he found a strange child in a boat with no eyes, nose, or skin. This is Daigo's son, whom the old woman put in the boat. Daigo's eyes filled to see that unfortunate and helpless creature. He took him home. He implanted many body parts that he did not have. After 1 year, Daigo was blessed with another son. He was very happy because his second son was physically fit and healthy. Jukai brought up the boy he found in the boat. He also taught him his name, which is Hyakkimaru. Jukai taught him many skills of self-defense and he became a brave warrior. He had killed many monsters. Jukai only wished to see him strong and brave. Hyakkimaru can sense monsters from a distance. One day, Jukai saw Hyakkimaru's right leg grow very fast after killing a monster. He sent him away by advising him to keep badges with him because that badge would help him recognize his parents. A blind man tells Dororo that someone made a deal with demons in exchange for Hyakkimaru's body parts. When Dororo and Hyakkimaru arrive at the entrance to the Hall of Hell, it is raining and a girl named Ososhi is waiting there. While they are conversing, a guy arrives who has been fatally injured and Ososhi tells them about his brother who has lost the fight. The injured man collapses and dies as Hyakkimaru flees. They observe a man brandishing a sword and numerous dead victims covered in blood. He is recognized by Ososhi as her missing brother. The man claims that this blade is cursed, bloodthirsty, and under the control of the person it is holding. He attempts to kill Hyakkimaru as well but fails. Hyakkimaru is battling when his leg is broken. The sword man also falls from a hill. When Dororo attempts to pull out the sword from Hyakkimaru's broken leg, it takes control of him. Although Hyakkimaru is pursuing him and urging him to hurl the sword, Dororo is unable to do so. Dororo attacks some men because the sword is controlling him. Ososhi brings food for her brother and recalls how she used to cry in her childhood. He discovers the missing individual and questions him about his background. He recalls how the sword was stored for a long time. He was instructed to hold this blade by the man he was working for. He murdered a lot of innocent individuals. Ososhi requests that he stay at home with her, but he refuses. Hyakkimaru attacks Dororo and throws the thirsty sword away from him. Ososhi's brother takes the thirsty sword once again and Hyakkimaru kills him despite Ososhi stopping him. She starts weeping over his brother's body. Following the death of the swordsman, Hyakkimaru regains his hearing. The noises annoy him and he becomes disturbed. Daigo, who is seated in the Hall of Hell, states that he is unable to locate the woman or child to whom he gave his son. He is shocked to learn that his son, whom he had assumed was dead, is still alive. Because he is not accustomed to these sounds, Hyakkimaru gets tired of hearing them all. He runs into a bird monster again, but Hyakkimaru is startled by the noises, so the priest arrives and dispatches the monster bird. The priest informs Dororo that Hyakkimaru suffers temporary weakness as a result of wounds or the restoration of his senses. Dororo says he will find some medicines in the nearby town. They sleep at night and Hyakkimaru wakes up the next morning. He heard a girl's lovely voice the following morning. After pursuing the voice, Hyakkimaru finally finds the girl. When she touches Hyakkimaru, she detects that he is feverish. The girl known as Mio leads them to her house, where she lives with several kids who have lost a lot of body parts. They were all left orphaned by their deceased parents during the war. Mio allows Dororo, Hyakkimaru, and the priest to stay there until Hyakkimaru recovers. All the children are enjoying their time with Mio and helping out around the house. Hyakkimaru is treated by Mio. The priest leaves the church to look for a place to live. The servant is being taught about the battle by Daigo. Daigo tells him that there will be no bad harvest this time. Daigo's wife says it seems that they have gone past. Dororo enjoys being with the children and Mio goes out to find medicine for Hyakkimaru. Hyakkimaru asks Mio to sing a song for him. The priest finds a place to live and tells Mio and Hyakkimaru about it. The priest says that a monster already resides there. Hyakkimaru goes to that place and the priest follows him. After a bloody battle, Hyakkimaru and the priest kill the demon. He is attacked by a demon and loses his leg. After eliminating the demon, he speaks again this time. After slaying the demon, he yells, and Dororo, who is watching this, is shocked to hear Hyakkimaru's voice. Mio is also pleased to know that Hyakkimaru can hear and speak. After losing a leg in the fight with a demon, Hyakkimaru retains his voice. Mio reaches home in bad condition and learns about Hyakkimaru's injury. Hyakkimaru is looked after by Mio at her home. Daigo's younger son begs his father to let him join the army, but he refuses. He also asks his mother, but she says his father will never allow him. He then goes riding, and he thinks his parents are trying to keep something from him. He believes they are aware of a secret. He also recalls the moment when she looked after him. He becomes upset when his father won't let him join the army. His temper is reduced by her mother. Hyakkimaru attempts to balance himself on one leg but fails. For him, Mio sings a song. Dororo is informed by the priest that Hyakkimaru possesses some demon flames. When Hyakkimaru hears the music, he feels comfortable. He holds Mio's face in his hands. The army of Daigo is discussing the conflict and preparing an unannounced surprise assault. They decide to keep an eye on Sakai's army. Dororo sees Mio going to work, and she says she is not embarrassed about what her job is. She says she is happy at how he understands her job at such a young age. Dororo tells her about his mother, and she gets emotional. Hyakkimaru receives dinner from Dororo, who urges him to say something. Before going to work, Mayo asks Dororo to stop Hyakkimaru from engaging in combat. A strange man is watching Mio behind a bush. At night, they are all sleeping when suddenly Dororo wakes up and finds Hyakkimaru missing. He runs outside and finds Hyakkimaru slaying a monster and reclaiming his leg. Hyakkimaru and Dororo see that the temple is on fire. They run toward it and see that some spies have attacked the temple. They attack Dororo and one of them is about to kill him, but Hyakkimaru saves him. Mayo is fighting with the attackers like a monster, as many children were killed in the attack on her home by some warriors. While singing the same tune, Mio passes away. To hear Mio's voice, Hyakkimaru starts killing the spies brutally. While traveling with Hyakkimaru, Dororo is trying to make Hyakkimaru laugh when he overhears some noises. Meanwhile, a large rock falls on him, but he dodges it by turning around. He notices a spider when he glances up. A man tumbles as Hyakkimaru climbs up to kill the spider. In pursuit of binding Hyakkimaru, the spider flees. Then they come across a village that is well guarded nearby. They are informed that their mission is to defend the village against kidnappers. Dororo guesses the spider monster is kidnapping the villagers. He tells Hyakkimaru that they can help out the villagers in the hope of a good reward. On his way home, Yajiro encounters a sick girl and takes her there. After feeding her, he leaves for work. She refuses to tell him her name, so he gives her the name Ohaji. She is progressively losing strength and thinks of sucking Yajiro's life force. Yajiro guarantees to be by her side. Dororo and Hyakkimaru learn that there will be a reward for those who find the kidnappers. Every evening, one man from the village vanishes. Every day, Hyakkimaru and Dororo search for monsters without success. Yajiro notices Ohaji is becoming weaker day by day. He tells her that she cannot find a doctor in the village. Yajiro is taking Ohaji outside of the village when they encounter Dororo and Hyakkimaru. Dororo recognizes Ohaji as the spider monster and asks Yajiro to stay away from her. Yajiro claims that he helped people get out of the village. Some other people come there and try to catch Yajiro, but Ohaji attacks them. She escapes to a mountain with Yajiro. Yajiro aids her in escaping, but Ohaji begs him to accompany her, and he consents. When the people arrive, they kill Yajiro. While Hyakkimaru approaches and engages in combat with her, Ohaji transforms into a spider and attacks them. She promises Yajiro that she won't let him pass away. Yajiro is taken by her, and Hyakkimaru departs. It makes Dororo happy to see Hyakkimaru grinning. Episode 8. The sky releases a downpour of ash known as Nokasarigumo, or a deserted cloud. An elderly guy advises getting the monster a bride. When bringing the bride, Hyakkimaru and Dororo pass by. Dororo feels a strange stink and asks Hyakkimaru if he is feeling the same. They witness a boy by the name of Saru assaulting the individuals, bringing the bride since she is his sister. Dororo tries to stop him while being confused about the situation. He is shocked when Saru tells him the tale. He informs him that the people of his village offer a bride to the monster every year, otherwise the monster will eat all the villagers. This year, Saru's sister has been selected as a bride for the monster, but he wants to save her. In exchange for payment to save his sister, he offers their assistance. He is given some gold by Saru. Saru unties his sister and asks her to leave, but soon the monster arrives. Everything is pitch black and Hyakkimaru is unable to see anything as they proceed to save the bride. The monster appears, devours the bride, and then leaves. They are informed by Saru that the bride is not his actual sister, but rather a former ally. He lost his parents in his childhood and lived alone. He hates humans who drove him out of the mountain where he used to live. One day, a girl came to him and helped him out. He thought she was like his mother. Saru and Dororo pledged to slay the beast and avenge Saru's sister. Dororo wonders why Hyakkimaru could not do anything when the monster came. Because they are both aware that the monster cannot see in the light, Dororo lures the monster to the place where Saru ignites the fire before the creature. Hyakkimaru slays the monster as soon as it appears in the light. Saru discovers his sister is still alive. Hyakkimaru regains his sense of smell after slaying the monster. Saru's sister asks Dororo his name and thanks him for helping Saru. Dororo feels dizzy due to a fever, and Hyakkimaru takes him to a man, but the man says he cannot do anything because he is a farmer. Then Hyakkimaru takes Dororo to a temple, where a nun treats Dororo. Dororo sees a flower and says that it reminds him of his parents. He tells the nun his tale of being abandoned by his parents after they were killed in battle. He recalls the whole incident of how his village was attacked by the samurai. He fled for several days with his parents in an attempt to save them. But one day one of the men killed his father, after which he fled with his mother. Both of them strolled past dead bodies and pools of blood. They both had to hide since brigands were prowling around looking for victims. They learned that Sumari was feeding people one day, so they both went to see that. Dororo's mother noticed Itachi there, who teased her. Dororo gets angry and tries to throw a stone at him, but his mother stops him. They put a hot dinner in her hands that burned them because she didn't have a bowl to take it in. She passed away from malnutrition some time ago. The nun offers prayers for them both. Diego is told by a man that a boy without eyes or a nose has been spotted somewhere. Diego is astounded to hear these words, and his son is astounded as well. A water monster is eating while a hurt human swims in the water. After some time, the monster devours him and disappears into the water. Diego is told that the harvest will suffer from a lack of rain and the threat of an attack from the nearby community. Diego gets worried and leaves the house, while his son thinks that it is time to know the secret his parents have been hiding from him. Diego reaches the Hall of Hell and learns that his child is still alive and is trying to take his body back. Hyakkimaru kills another monster and he and Dororo take a bath in a pond. Hyakkimaru makes an effort to learn his parents' secret but is unsuccessful. He drugs one of his father's servants and asks him to tell the secret of his father. The servant bites his tongue and does not reveal anything. He asked his father about the child, but he withheld any information. When Hyakkimaru and his men arrive, they find a community where everyone is terrified of a water monster. Tahoma goes to the monster to slay it. Only the crab monster can be harmed by them. They resolve to destroy the monster on Earth after devising a new method to drain the water from neighboring lakes. They assault the monster, but Hyakkimaru can help them defeat it. Tahomaru expresses gratitude to Hyakkimaru for saving them and gives them some money. Tahomaru requests Hyakkimaru's name, which surprises him. Tahomaru is asked about Diego's land by Dororo. They travel there and explore the marketplace. They also attend a performance where they run into a priest. The blind priest says that Hyakkimaru has killed many humans and asks him to be careful. Hyakkimaru and Dororo overhear several folks discussing the village's ban and curse. Diego is told about Hyakkimaru by Tahomaru guards as his wife watches. When she hears this, she begins to cry. Dororo and Hyakkimaru hear that the settlement of Diego is surrounded by a large wall, and anyone attempting to pass it is instantly killed. They reach the wall and Dororo asks Hyakkimaru if he senses something. They learn from a boy that there once was a village there, but Asakara overcame it. He longs to return home. The boy gives them food and tells them that his name is Sukuroku. Dororo pledges to support him. The wife of Diego begs for the life of her child, but Diego refuses. While Diego gets there, Hyakkimaru engages in combat with the fox monster. Sukuroku tells Dororo about his mother. Tahomaru learns about the demon curse and the child without a nose, eyes, or skin from a crazy woman. Hyakkimaru confronts Diego while the blind priest reaches the Hall of Hell. Diego recognizes Hyakkimaru and gives the order to kill Hyakkimaru, but he runs away. Dororo and Sukuroku are caught up by Diego's army. Sukuroku starts crying, saying that his mother might be killed. Dororo calms him down, saying that Hyakkimaru will come to save them. When Dororo tries to escape from prison, he learns that Hyakkimaru is a member of the Diego family. Tahomaru inquires about the demon child from his mother and claims that sacrificing his child for the benefit of others is immoral. Diego comes there and says that he did all this to save his land. Tahomaru says he did not do this to fulfill his ambitions. Diego says he sacrificed his child to save the land. When Hyakkimaru arrives at Diego's home, Diego gives his men the order to kill him, but he manages to escape. Between Asakura and Diego, there is conflict. Tahomaru violates the agreement with the demons. When the fight starts, Tahomaru confronts Hyakkimaru, intending to kill him, but Diego's wife arrives and begs for forgiveness from Hyakkimaru. She stabs her with a dagger, causing a large wall to collapse and bringing Asakura to the attack. Sukurako discovers that the young child's mother is still alive. The decapitated idol is taken up by the priest. At night, Hyakkimaru leaves the house. Dororo tries to stop him, but he keeps going. Dororo wonders why Hyakkimaru did not get any of his body parts after defeating the fox monster. Dororo then advises him to visit a hot spring to relax. He also tells him that a monster is seen around the spring. While Asakura is defeated and Diego's country is blessed with rain, Diego is concerned. A lady kills a man, then drags him to the fountain and throws him in. When Dororo visits the waterfall, he recognizes his mother-like figure there. Hyakkimaru and Dororo reside in the home of Okaka. A statue of the black-faced Buddha is also visible to Dororo. Okaka feeds them and brings them home. She tells them the Buddha's carver's tale. Dororo asks Okaka if he can call her mama because she is like his mother. Although Dororo is delighted to eat the dinner, they both fall asleep thereafter since Okaka mixed drugs into it. She used to bring people there and carve their faces, and she was the one who carved the Buddha statue. When Dororo wakes up, he discovers that Okaka and Hyakkimaru are gone. He travels to the waterfall, where Hyakkimaru is being pulled by Okaka. Hyakkimaru awakens and begins to attack Okaka and the Buddha statue while he is in the water. Dororo forbids Okaka from trying to sever his face because she recognizes the value of people with faces. She becomes aware of this and rejects the Buddha statue that mercilessly killed her. Once more, Hyakkimaru strikes Buddha and obliterates him. When the priest arrives, Hyakkimaru and Dororo take a swim in a pool. Some kids come over to take baths as well and inquire about them. A map is visible on Dororo's back. When Dororo's father tried to tell his mother about the money he had hidden, she interrupted him and feared squandering it. She offered that he engrave the partial map on both her and Dororo's backs. The map was mentioned to Dororo by his mother a few days before her death. In the present, the priest advises Dororo to spend his father's funds. He tells him that the map on his back will appear when his body warms up. He also asks him to think about what he will do next. When Dororo and Hyakkimaru step outside, a large monster captures them, but does not harm Dororo. They arrive at a burned-out temple. A ghost is visible to Hyakkimaru, but it vanishes. A man tells them that the paste is dangerous for them. His name is Sabame, and he is the lord of that land. He asks them to visit his house. When they get home, some girls are dancing while music is playing. After a filling supper, Sabame recounts to the group the legend of the temple ghost. The orphans were cared for by a nun who resided in the shrine. She forced the orphans to work and treated them like animals. If the orphans didn't comply with her orders, she would beat them severely. All the orphans were sold a few years later. All of the children, including a nun, were burned when the temple caught fire one day. Dororo cries as he thinks of his mother. At night, a monster approaches, but Hyakkimaru harms it. Sabame is waiting for a woman while standing. He assures her that he will look out for her and their kids. Sabame's breakfast is appreciated by Dororo. They are permitted to remain with Sabame. Dororo tells Hyakkimaru that he is going to visit the village. Hyakkimaru says he will watch out for Sabame. Dororo goes outside where people are working in the fields and ladies are carrying tea for them because he is intrigued by the temple. A rice cake is given to him by a young boy. When Dororo inquires about the burned-out temple, the elderly woman leaves without responding. In the woods, Hyakkimaru is chasing Sabame, who tells him about his favorite place. In the jungle, Dororo discovers a farmhouse. He goes inside and finds a lot of rice stored there. Additionally, he notices a trap door and attempts to enter it before someone forces him in and shuts the door. Sabame tells Hyakkimaru that this village is important to him and he will protect it at any cost. Monster caterpillars are attacking Dororo. However, a different monster saves him, and while looking at some child spirits, he learns that Sabame was the one who set fire to the temple. Hyakkimaru is informed by Sabame that his village is everything to him and that he doesn't permit anyone to meddle with it. He explains to him that he guards demons and they guard his property. He is attacked by Hyakkimaru, but a monster saves him. All of the rice is burned when the village catches fire. Hyakkimaru is informed by Dororo that peasants set fire to the temple. Dororo tells him that he was attacked by a ghoul, but the big baby saved him. He also informs him about the souls of dead children. He harms himself while trying to kill a monster. The entire community burns to the ground. Tahomaru is practicing the battle because Hyakkimaru's stabbing of his eye has rendered him weak. While conversing with Dororo, Hyakkimaru turns to leave but realizes that Dororo is not with him. When Dororo encounters some guys riding horseback, they inquire about the map they are carrying, which is only partially complete. One of the guys is Itachi, who carries the half map. Even if Dororo turns his back on them, they kidnap him. On the other hand, Hyakkimaru is searching for Dororo. Itachi reveals to Dororo where the cash is kept. Itachi explains to Dororo how his father obtained the funds. He also admitted that he had dug up Dororo's mother's grave to view the map that was attached to her back. They bring Dororo there and ask him to help them in exchange for money. A boy with one arm offers to help them as they search for boats to cross the river. Dororo warns Itachi about the strange boy, but he does not listen to him. He transports them with a shark-powered watercraft. When Dororo inquires about the boy's arm, it is revealed that he fed the sharks with it. Everyone in the boat is astonished to hear this. He also says that he fed people, children, and perhaps the entire village to sharks. Then he commands his sharks to devour them, and 3 men from the boat are devoured. Itachi regrets all he did, but Dororo encourages them to do better. When Dororo dives into the sea to attract sharks, everyone else stabs the shark simultaneously to kill it. When he sees his shark dead, the shark boy arrives and is enraged, but Itachi and his men beat him. They are about to kill the boy, but Dororo stops them and they throw him away. After seeing the map and warming Dororo's back, they leave him there. The shark's owner commands his shark to devour all the Itachi men. A ghoul assaults the humans as Jukai is tending to their injuries, but Hyakkimaru arrives and kills the ghoul. When Jukai learns that Hyakkimaru can speak and hear, he is both astonished and happy. He asks Hyakkimaru what he is to him. Hyakkimaru wants to have his leg fixed. Jukai gives him something to eat. He discusses Daigo with Jukai and tells him that he knows about his parents. Daigo's wife awakens, and he tells their son, but Tahomaru leaves, saying that he is in a hurry and will see his mother after coming back. Jukai refuses to fix Hyakkimaru's legs, saying that this will lead him to hell. Daigo warns his wife not to repeat the mistake. She recalls the kind goddess without a head. She claims that Hyakkimaru was saved because the goddess gave her head as a sacrifice. Due to the goddess's head being smashed and the inability to cope with demons, village prosperity has also ended. To keep an eye on Hyakkimaru, Daigo gives the command to slay a monster. Tohomaru sets out. Why did Hyakkimaru kill so many creatures? Jukai queries. He explains that he must also slay his family and several villagers, in addition to demons. He will be the only person on Earth. The lion monsters are slain by Hyakkimaru, and the rat monsters are slain by Tohomaru. Jukai refuses to reveal his name when Hyakkimaru asks him. Tohomaru gets his soldiers ready for battle. In a boat, Hyakkimaru searches for Dororo. Itachi and his soldiers find the map on Dororo's back and go to search for the money. After seeing one of his sharks dead, the shark boy asks his shark to eat Itachi and his men. Dororo is speaking to his mother while sitting in a cave. For this shark to eat Dororo, the shark boy tethered him to a tree. When it attacks Dororo, Hyakkimaru kills the shark while protecting him. After killing the shark, he regains his leg. Dororo gets emotional to see Hyakkimaru. Itachi follows the map to the cave. A man kicks away as he moves his foot in the direction of the cave. When they notice something on the river's opposite bank, it is the army of Tohomaru. Itachi and his soldiers are attacked by them. Dororo and Hyakkimaru try to hide. Tohomaru and Hyakkimaru come face to face and start fighting. Although Itachi pulls Dororo to flee, he refuses to abandon Hyakkimaru. They notice a row of statues. Itachi claims that this location is on the map and that he is attempting to locate the money that Tohomaru's soldiers destroyed. Itachi is attacked by Tohomaru's soldiers, and before passing away, he asks Dororo to let him view the wealth once, and he agrees. The shark boy arrives and starts blasting everyone while Dororo is carrying Itachi. They all hardly stand a chance against flying stones. Hyogo, Tohomaru's guard, also perishes. When Itachi and Dororo tumble into a ditch, they discover the wealth and see Itachi's passing away as he closes his eyes. When Hyakkimaru arrives, he asks Dororo to go. According to Dororo, he is unsure about how to use this prize. The struggle was won by both of them, and they continued to row until dusk. Episode 8. The sky releases a downpour of ash known as Nukasarigumo, or a deserted cloud. An elderly guy advises getting the monster a bride. When bringing the bride, Hyakkimaru and Dororo pass by. Dororo feels a strange stink and asks Hyakkimaru if he is feeling the same. They witness a boy by the name of Saru assaulting the individuals, bringing the bride since she is his sister. Dororo tries to stop him while being confused about the situation. He is shocked when Saru tells him the tale. He informs him that the people of his village offer a bride to the monster every year, otherwise the monster will eat all the villagers. This year, Saru's sister has been selected as a bride for the monster, but he wants to save her. In exchange for payment to save his sister, he offers their assistance. He is given some gold by Saru. Saru unties his sister and asks her to leave, but soon the monster arrives. Everything is pitch black and Hyakkimaru is unable to see anything as they proceed to save the bride. The monster appears, devours the bride, and then leaves. They are informed by Saru that the bride is not his actual sister, but rather a former ally. He lost his parents in his childhood and lived alone. He hates humans who drove him out of the mountain where he used to live. One day, a girl came to him and helped him out. He thought she was like his mother. Saru and Dororo pledged to slay the beast and avenge Saru's sister. Dororo wonders why Hyakkimaru could not do anything when the monster came. Because they are both aware that the monster cannot see in the light, Dororo lures the monster to the place where Saru ignites the fire before the creature. Hyakkimaru slays the monster as soon as it appears in the light. Saru discovers his sister is still alive. Hyakkimaru regains his sense of smell after slaying the monster. Saru's sister asks Dororo his name and thanks him for helping Saru. Dororo feels dizzy due to a fever, and Hyakkimaru takes him to a man, but the man says he cannot do anything because he is a farmer. Then Hyakkimaru takes Dororo to a temple, where a nun treats Dororo. Dororo sees a flower and says that it reminds him of his parents. He tells the nun his tale of being abandoned by his parents after they were killed in battle. He recalls the whole incident of how his village was attacked by the samurai. He fled for several days with his parents in an attempt to save them. But one day one of the men killed his father, after which he fled with his mother. Both of them strolled past dead bodies and pools of blood. They both had to hide since brigands were prowling around looking for victims. They learned that Sumari was feeding people one day, so they both went to see that. Dororo's mother noticed Itachi there, who teased her. Dororo gets angry and tries to throw a stone at him, but his mother stops him. They put a hot dinner in her hands that burned them because she didn't have a bowl to take it in. She passed away from malnutrition some time ago. The nun offers prayers for them both. Daigo is told by a man that a boy without eyes or a nose has been spotted somewhere. Diego is astounded to hear these words, and his son is astounded as well. A water monster is eating while a hurt human swims in the water. After some time, the monster devours him and disappears into the water. Diego is told that the harvest will suffer from a lack of rain and the threat of an attack from the nearby community. Diego gets worried and leaves the house, while his son thinks that it is time to know the secret his parents have been hiding from him. Diego reaches the Hall of Hell and learns that his child is still alive and is trying to take his body back. Hyakkimaru kills another monster and he and Dororo take a bath in a pond. Hyakkimaru makes an effort to learn his parents' secret but is unsuccessful. He drugs one of his father's servants and asks him to tell the secret of his father. The servant bites his tongue and does not reveal anything. He asked his father about the child, but he withheld any information. When Hyakkimaru and his men arrive, they find a community where everyone is terrified of a water monster. Tahoma goes to the monster to slay it. Only the crab monster can be harmed by them. They resolve to destroy the monster on Earth after devising a new method to drain the water from neighboring lakes. They assault the monster, but Hyakkimaru can help them defeat it. Tahomaru expresses gratitude to Hyakkimaru for saving them and gives them some money. Tahomaru requests Hyakkimaru's name, which surprises him. Tahomaru is asked about Diego's land by Dororo. They travel there and explore the marketplace. They also attend a performance where they run into a priest. The blind priest says that Hyakkimaru has killed many humans and asks him to be careful. Hyakkimaru and Dororo overhear several folks discussing the village's banman curse. Diego is told about Hyakkimaru by Tahomaru guards as his wife watches. When she hears this, she begins to cry. Dororo and Hyakkimaru hear that the settlement of Diego is surrounded by a large wall, and anyone attempting to pass it is instantly killed. They reach the wall and Dororo asks Hyakkimaru if he senses something. They learn from a boy that there once was a village there, but Asakara overcame it. He longs to return home. The boy gives them food and tells them that his name is Sukuroku. Dororo pledges to support him. The wife of Diego begs for the life of her child, but Diego refuses. While Diego gets there, Hyakkimaru engages in combat with the fox monster. Sukuroku tells Dororo about his mother. Tahomaru learns about the demon curse and the child without a nose, eyes, or skin from a crazy woman. Hyakkimaru confronts Diego while the blind priest reaches the Hall of Hell. Sabane recounts to the group the legend of the temple ghost. The orphans were cared for by a nun who resided in the shrine. She forced the orphans to work and treated them like animals. If the orphans didn't comply with her orders, she would beat them severely. All the orphans were sold a few years later. People living close to the border are anxious and afraid of war. They are all tired of running around trying to stay alive. As they continue to move, Dororo and Diego's wife are startled to discover Hyakkimaru and Tahomaru fighting. Although the priest forbids it and claims that Hyakkimaru is not in his right mind and doesn't even recognize Dororo, Hyakkimaru tries to stop Dororo. He explains to Dororo and Diego's wife that one of the 12 demons was unable to consume Hyakkimaru, which is why he is still alive. They are currently attempting to recover what they were unable to consume. The horse ghoul is damaged by Tahomaru's guards as they attack it, but he manages to hack off one of their heads. Hyakkimaru regains both of his hands during the struggle. In the meantime, Jukai arrives and stops Hyakkimaru, warning him that if he recovers his body, it will be covered in blood. The guards' bodies are buried by the priest and Dororo. The priest informs Dororo that until one of them perishes, nothing can be done to stop them. The wife of Diego laments not shielding her kids. Diego is informed that Asakura has sent out a new army to assault them and that Tahomaru and Hyakkimaru are engaged in a ferocious battle. They must march to the east, according to Diego. In the castle, Tahomaru and Hyakkimaru engage in combat. While the castle is on fire, Dororo prevents Hyakkimaru from becoming a monster. While the priest assists Diego in rising, his wife stumbles to the ground. Since he was born and raised, and his mother is also his, Tahomaru asserts that he, and not Hyakkimaru, is the rightful owner of the castle. The wife of Diego travels to Jukai. While fighting, Tahomaru's sword breaks and he starts to cry. He abruptly transforms into a demon, removes his 2 eyes, and offers them to Hyakkimaru. Dororo pursues the mother of Diego. After regaining complete physical control, Hyakkimaru destroys the demon statue. In his mother's lap, he is curled up. He receives a statue of God from Jukai. Tahomaru is told by Diego's wife that she will never leave him. Hyakkimaru goes to the Hall of Hell, where his father threatens to sacrifice him once more. Place the god statue there, and Hyakkimaru swears to live as a human.